Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about tarot. I'm going to sort of give a Christian perspective, but really it's my Christian perspective on tarot, and maybe more my perspective than Christian perspective. Anyway, for the few of you who have no idea what tarot is, it's basically 78 cards. It's the major arcana, basically 22 cards that have like different symbols or characters that they represent. Then there are the minor arcana, which is basically 4 suits, typically wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. Sometimes there are different suits. I mean, the 4 suits of the minor arcana are typically like playing cards, except instead of having the jack, they have 2 cards in place of the jack, the page and the knight. And tarot cards are typically kind of read either for reflection, kind of they have these different ways of spreading them out and looking at, okay, this card will mean this, so things like that. There are all these big fancy ways that they spread their cards out and look at them, and what being in that spot represents in that spot. And yeah. And yeah, something interesting though is that originally tarot cards were basically people played games with tarot cards like we do with playing cards. And I sometimes think, it would be kind of cool for people to like play games with tarot cards. I mean, with the major arcana, there are like all these cool wild cards you could get. I'm going to pull the Bible out now, and I'm going to show you something else that people could do with tarot cards. You might have a good guess. I think it would be kind of cool because there's this whole attitude of like magic and mystery around tarot cards. So, so I think a stage magician or a parlor magician or someone could do, a lot of the stuff that people do with playing cards, you could do with tarot cards. And for people who are saying, but that's a misuse of something sacred, I consider the Bible sacred. I'm using it to shuffle cards. Or was. But anyway, I'm gonna, just for fun, I'm gonna do a little magic trick, because I like to do it. So, this card is going to be the 9 of Spades. And how about the 2 of Hearts? And the 10 of Diamonds? And how about one more? The 3 of Hearts. The one at the bottom is the 5 of Spades. Okay, now I'm going to comment that, also that tarot card readers should maybe consider, for people who do tarot readings for the masses, not just within your own spiritual community, learning a few of these card tricks might be kind of fun to do with tarot cards. And maybe learning learning sort of how to do all these little flips with the cards that I didn't do. And although if you're going to learn stage magic, I'm also going to recommend learning how to act. But then you should maybe know how to do that anyway. Anyway, on to the tarot cards. Let's get down to serious business. Now, there's this whole attitude that Christians have of, ooh, they're bad, or ooh, it's of the devil. It's like, these are cards. People, there's this whole attitude that you have your fortune told and all that stuff. I think most people I know of do it more a sort of personal reflection. But I mean, the symbols of the cards, I mean, different artists do different things. But I mean, they're also generic. The Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, not the game show, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, Temperance, the Devil. That's very much Christian symbolism. It's not really part of. Actually, it's not really part of. It's not really a part of paganism. The Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, the Stars, Judgment, very Christian. The World. I mean, overall, these are very general sort of things. And the four suits, they can be whatever you want them to be. Wands, that might be. Some might complain. I think Pentacles is the big one, and originally Pentacle was maybe more of a part of possibly I think Jewish mysticism, and it's like it's been sort of sometimes associated with King Solomon. So wands maybe, but I mean Harry Potter uses a wand all the time. The Harry Potter stories written by an Anglican. So anyway, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Christian symbolism, primarily first with all the aces, Hand of God. Well, this is the classic Rider-Waite deck. This is sort of what's considered the Hand of God, and there's a dove right there at the top of the card. You can find all these cards at Wikipedia. This is the Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, and in the set of Pentacles, that's in a church. I'm going to focus on the Pentacles because they're walking past a church, stained glass window. So, and, I mean, there are definitely. I mean, it does depend on how the artist draws the deck, but also with the World card, I'm gonna hold this up closer. Like each corner is another one of the four evangelists of the four writers of the Gospels. Judgment, very inspired by the Book of Revelation, and in the sun, moon, yeah, star, tower. The devil, very much a part of Christianity. Not that common in the progressive Christian movement. Um, look at that. Angels, very much a Christian symbol. The death card. Here in this card, it's a bishop meeting a skeleton on a horse. The hanged man. Several people interpret it being hung from a cross. There are other texts where it's more cross-shaped. And there was a whole thing of the hanged man represents Jesus, Noah represents Judas, and he's upside down, he represents Peter. Let's see, Wheel of Fortune. And there's a bit of Hebrew right right there and there and there. The wheel and the four evangelists. And here they're actually writing they're over books. So very much a Christian symbol. Um, the Hermit card, six-pointed star right there, Star of David. Judaism, Christianity. Judaism comes from Christianity. Here we've got the lovers, sort of Adam and Eve. You see, kind of Eve, the tree with the fruit, and the serpent, the woman, and the Hierophant card, sometimes considered the Pope card. Priests in pastoral chasubles. Um, then here it says Torah. That's basically the law of Moses, and across other other Christian symbolism. So that's the big stuff. I mean, it depends on what deck you're drawing, what deck you're talking about. Different artists draw them differently, but I've come across some artists, some decks that are more, ironically, the one that's considered more Christian. I'm going to pull out the World card again. The one that's considered very Christian, it's the Connolly deck. I would say it's not as much a Christian deck, but more of a feel-good, watered-down deck, very much inspired by a lot of Christian art and stained glass windows. But in that deck, the World card, doesn't have the four evangelists. But there's, oh yeah, something else about the Connolly deck. I'm going to comment, it's a good one for readers who read more to the masses, because people get freaked out about the Death card and the Devil card, but in those decks, the Death card is now the transition card, the Devil card is now the materialism card. And also, back to the World card, I'm getting off topic, sort of, being nonlinear. And there's another deck, the Witchcraft deck, or the Witches deck. The World card still has the four evangelists, possibly because the artist didn't know what they were symbolic of. And also, the center is a green man. And ironically, I mean, the green man probably wasn't originally a Christian symbol, but there are a lot of Anglican churches that have a green man. But anyway, something I'm going to comment on that, because this is not my first take of this video, I might have already commented on this in this video. Something I like about a lot of pagans who use tarot cards just for their own personal reflection, I really like that. I think it's a really cool idea to just randomly draw a card, or randomly draw a couple of cards, or a few cards, or a bunch, and just reflect on them and what they mean. Something that Christians like myself are very based off of with this is sort of what we usually look at for reflection. We usually have a calendar on which passages and which things, and also, now, yeah, so I think having something at random, I think, can be a really good thing. And something I'm going to also comment on is that the symbols in these cards are very general. I mean, I think I said this before in this video, but they're not really strictly, they're not really pagan, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, Jewish, whatever. These are, I mean, the Hierophant card was, I've heard, has been called the Pope card. And I mean, sometimes they change the names of the cards. And also there's a Christian tarot deck of like these different cards are like different saints. And I think, yeah, there are also some sort of, it's like a Hollywood deck. There are some really interesting decks. But overall, basically, my overall Christian perspective on tarot is it's cool. No problem with it. And if there are Christians who, I mean, I really haven't incorporated it into my life that much. And I mean, this deck here, it's borrowed. There are definitely Christians and other people who've incorporated it into their life. To that I say, great. I think having sort of cards and a randomness is a great idea. Anyway, thank you for watching. Shalom.